decided to develop a special project on cocoa because it is such an interesting material and it's an industry that is notoriously hard to achieve true traceability on. So it was a two-pronged approach. We have still at the moment the bulk of our butter from a fair trade organic certified source through a distributor, and then we work alongside the Colombian peace community, San Jose de Apartado, to buy beans directly from the community. Working with the peace community was a real departure. We heard about the ongoing struggles they were facing in an area of ongoing conflict, their vision of living a truly self-sufficient life, and we were really inspired by their story, by their optimism and the stance that they were taking as a peace community, and we wanted to find a way to support them or work with them as a company. And really, what better way to do that than through trade? Because one of the key materials that the community produces is cocoa, and they often struggle to access the local market or to find a buyer for their cocoa, and it's something that as a finished product, cocoa butter, we use hundreds of tons of a year. So for us, we decided to take on this project of sourcing the beans directly, and it was the first time that we actually had the ownership from bean all the way to the finished butter. And it was a huge learning curve for us and for the community, but it was a group that we believed in. It was in keeping with our real desire to create true transparency in our cocoa supply chain, and it's also just the first step for us. Ideally, in the long term, what we'd like to do is end up in a situation where the vast majority, if not all of our cocoa, is coming directly from small-scale communities around the world that we can work with really closely together. It's important to us to maintain the established processes in a region whenever we're working with communities or in a new market. And when you're dealing with a community like the Colombian peace community, they have a lot of experience in cocoa growing. They have set processes, and it's very important to us to always ensure that we're not going in with predetermined ideas of how things should be done or trying to impose our ideas, but rather to listen and to learn and to respect and acknowledge existing processes and to facilitate the improvement of these if that's what's desired. We always strive to improve the effectiveness of our supply chains, and it is about collaboration with all parties involved. So from the growers on the ground to the shipping agents that get it from Colombia through to Holland, the cocoa processors, and then getting it back into our own manufacturing. And it is about the transparency and understanding all the different steps and identifying room for improvement through discussions, through further technological advances, through trialling new methods and new ways of doing things. So we're always looking for opportunities for improvement, and we're always sharing ideas as well. So it's very much a collaboration of ideas and suggestions and a willingness to trial them as well. In order to implement the changes, we need to collaborate. So it is having that transparency, having the very open dialogue, and having that investment from all parties in making it a successful, long-lasting partnership. It means that everyone is very open to trying any suggestions or implementing any proposed changes that we can then review and see whether it did make a change. But it's realising that nothing is ever perfect and that there'll always be further steps that we can take to improve things even further.